Good morning, everybody. This is Aaron Mesh with Willamette Week. Today, I'm joined by Eden Ferede. We are talking a little bit about her experiences as someone who has. Am I right? You've lived in Israel?
Yeah, I'm from Israel, born and raised. Came to the US, to Portland specifically, almost 2 years ago.
hmm
Um,
What brought you here?
what?
What brought you here?
So I'm an Israeli fellow. This is how my position here called. I came here through a program that the Jewish agency in Israel created with the locals Hillels here that works, it's a non-profit organization that works with students all over North America. Um, and it's basically bringing young adults to meet with students um, to try to give them a better understanding about our Israeli experience, our story life. Each of one of us is coming from different background, different kind of childhood. So we given the students opportunity to learn a little bit more about what Israel is about through our stories. So this is what I do. I work with students here at PSU and Lewis and Clark. And we're doing all kind of events and programs that not necessarily related directly to Israel. Some of them is related to the fact that we are Jewish, and we are celebrating our holidays together, our important days. But obviously, it's open for all students that want to learn and explore a little bit more of that.
Obviously, in a month like this, like the last month, May, the Israeli experience has been a little different. Can you describe to me what kind of reaction you've been getting at PSU?
Yeah, so PSU is this all year been virtual. The whole classes was virtual, obviously, um, and we know that we have an history at that school with BDS is there trying to pass the BDS law, and I know that students have good memory and they know that there is an attention at that school because it's bigger. There's different kind of groups. But this year, I have to say that we haven't really experienced any of that. Um, but obviously, the past few weeks was very, very intense, and I can't even imagine how it would look like if it was not virtual. Um, the attention is there. You can see it on social media. You can hear it on the news. There are still protests here in Portland, downtown. I even been in one. I came across it. It was not my attention, but I was there and been happening.
What
Um,
happened when you came in when you happened to cross a Palestinian protest?
that was some. I mean, as I said, first time being in the U.S. I've been in protests in Israel. Here, I really didn't know what to expect. I saw the amount of violence that been happening in those rallies. So I knew that I, that those protests, it was a pro-Palestine protest. Um, and I knew that something that I recognized with Israel, obviously just being an Israeli, nobody knows it immediately, but I have this necklace on me with the Star of David. And I was there with a friend of mine, another Israeli, and obviously we were speaking Hebrew, and we stopped immediately. And I just hide my necklace because was the first thing that came on my mind. I did not want to expose myself in any kind of interaction. It's not even concerning if I'm supporting or not. I just did not want to get involved in any kind of incident. Um, and yeah, it was during the weekend. I was not even at work. It just happened when I was there. So yeah, I was scared. I mean, we ran to our car. Basically, we went super fast, and we just did not engage and went back home. Um, and I keep hearing like stories and like people all over just avoiding certain areas that they know that they will be kind a pro or like pro Israel or pro Palestine. It doesn't matter. That people will, you know, will hide their identity or their symbols that may be attached them to each side. So that was my reaction to it. I was never needed to hide my necklace ever in Portland. And it was the first time that I was actually like, okay, I don't know. I'm not gonna put myself in that risk.
How's your family doing? You have family in Israel, right?
I have a family that lives in Ashkelon, which is the main city that's been targeted with the rockets that been sent into Israel areas. So yeah, Ashkelon was the most bombed city, and it was rough. I mean, imagine try to have like a intellectual conversation with students, try to explain to them what's been going on over there when your family is running to bomb shelters every minute. I mean, and they don't have bomb shelters in their household. They need to go to like some community one that all the neighbors around the neighborhood like go there. So it was scary, and I watched the news like 24 hours. I even put notification for each time that there has been a rocket that been sent, and it was, I mean, I lived here but there in mentally, and I'm really very much familiar with that reality. And obviously those notification target, I mean, was how do you say it, like um not target, like triggered me, and I could actually, like, you know, immediately when I heard it the first time, I was like, where should I run? And it's been crazy. They did not been sleeping. It's the first time I've been talking to my parents. My parents are religious people. They believe that everything that's happened, it's for the best, and they always wish for peace, and very amazing calm people. And talking with both of them, telling me that they are scared, that this time is just awful in ways that you don't know when it's going to hit you. They actually were afraid to go out. And I'm just, you know, coming from where my parents came from Ethiopia at the 80s and in the 70s. They sacrificed a lot to get to be in Israel, to build their family. I have 6 brothers and sisters. um, Hearing them saying that, it's just, you know, it's break my heart to be so far away. I have another sister, she's pregnant, she lives in Tel Aviv. um, you know, hearing her like need to run at the stairs to, and I'm hearing about people that got injured, even got died, like just running to safe places. Immediately I cannot, I mean, I feel, I mean, I scare about her. I know she have her protection and her husband with her, but who knows? I mean, it's not that there is like been a schedule that you know when you need to hide and be safe. And my other siblings is all over as well. My sister, she's a nurse. She working at the hospital. She just finished, you know, this all treatment of corona patient, and now that bring injured like people from the bombs, trauma injured people. So it was scary. I know my brother, the last war at Sukeitan at 2014, he was in Gaza. I know it's triggered him a lot. Hearing those bombs again, I really scared that Israel will decide to get in, um, because I did not want him to experience that. This reality, people need to understand. It's We are normal people. I mean, we want both sides to live in peace. And the fact that people is trying to minimize the trauma that we have as people is awful. It doesn't give any kind of solution. It's just make it worse. It's instead of narrowing the gaps, it's just making them being so, I mean, the conversation being impossible. um and this is our life. I mean, I'm gonna be back to Ashkelon. I'm gonna be back to Israel. I'm gonna be the one who lived there. And having those conversations from the comfort zone here, it's just devastating to me. And it's been rough. It's still rough. I'm still dealing with it here still, even though the attention is like now kind of quiet, but who can promise it's not going to happen next week?
Do you think that's the biggest misperception people have about Israelis, is that is a failure to understand that
Yeah.
Israelis are suffering as well?
Yeah. And people don't understand that there are people in both sides that want peace. The fact that people took stand and think that what they believe is the right true, it's fine. But best believe that I feel the same thing, but I'm experienced the suffer as well. I mean, I don't need to have those kind of trauma. I mean, how a reality when I can recognize a rocket that been shot from the Iron Dome or from Gaza. I mean, how was that even a reality that I should experience? Kids, I have friends that have newborns that already have this thing that I know when they hear in the serenade that they need to run. I mean, my friend baby know to pick up his hands when he hearing the serenade because he knows that she gonna come and pick him up and go to to a bomb shelter. Convince me that it is normal. And people talking about numbers, and it's just fascinating to me that you measuring it with the amount of casualty that we have in both sides. It's devastating. Kids should not be died. People in general, no one need to die in the name of any war. I don't believe in that. Acknowledging that both sides are suffering and we did not sign up for that. This is not the life we want. We want peace. And if you don't have any kind of logical, I don't know, result to this, that both sides could live in peace, you should be quiet. You should not have any kind of opinion on it. We don't need that. We have enough hatred among us, and there is wonderful people that try to narrow that. Help them. Don't take stand. It's not the time. I mean, it's devastating to me, as you can hear in my voice, because it's keep happening. People think that they are, I don't know, it's just devastating.
There is kind of, it sounds like you're saying there is a kind of moral superiority that you see from people that is unearned.
Yeah, yes, there is, and I know that there are some minority groups that take stand as well here in the U.S. And I'm just thinking, when you saying that I am the monster, like, sorry, the Israelis are the monster, are the occupier, the one who like responsible for all of that. When you saying Israelis, who do you mean? Do you see me? Do you see only white people? Do you see the settlers? Do you see immigrants from all over? I mean, who do you see? I know that people trying to compare it to the history here between black and white. It's not it. We have our own nuance. We have our own story. We are both indigenous in this region, and people need to understand that this conflict, it's been happening. It's because we both have the same right on that land. And the fact that you are trying to explain with reasonable arguments from history that I can bring the same one about the Jewish people, which is just, it's not leading us to anywhere. So don't try to bring your history into our home. It's not us.